Welcome back, episode 2
Welcome back.
of the McBryant
Show.
Show. That was not enthusiastic at all. The McBryant
Brian Show. There we go.
I like it. Starting with some flames.
Yeah.
All right, so
Keep going.
Keep going.
why are you laughing at me?
I wasn't laughing at you.
You're laughing at me. You're hurting my insides. So fun stuff. Trying to film and edit episode 1 was crazy. And me and Isaiah are like, yo, how are we gonna edit this? I was gonna edit it on my own, just get it done with. I sent out a video, get it done with. But this guy's like, I want to learn how to edit. So I'm like, okay, fine. So we decided to meet up on Thursday at Isaiah's house. And I roll up in my car, boom, get out. I'm holding like a few drinks, like ginger beer and some water. I roll out. I go to like knock on Isaiah's door. I didn't knock on the door because Isaiah saw me and heard me. But I was like right at the door. And the door opens. And there's 3 dogs. There's a German Shepherd that jumps up, bites me right in the arm. I would show you, but it's under here. Like right in the armpit, basically.
Yeah.
And at the same time, ripped my shorts. So my shorts are ripped. My armpit's bleeding. That sounds so bad. My armpit's bleeding, my shorts are ripped. But like, so just that happens. Boom. And then this other tiny midget dog just runs away.
Midget dog.
So I get here, I'm like all on adrenaline. And Isaiah already is running away. Nice.
Later.
Isaiah's running away. No. Isaiah's little dog. What's the dog's name again?
Cleo.
Cleo. Little Cleo just runs away. And Isaiah's barefoot. And Isaiah just like runs after the dog like down the street. And from my perspective, I was kind of on adrenaline. I was like, I was kind of in pain because I got cut or bit by this dog, and the shorts ripped. And I was just like kind of scared. I was like, what's happening? And then I just see this dude Isaiah running off a dog in the middle of the street barefoot. It looks so funny. And
A
then
little painful.
yeah, it hurt his feet. But then there's like this lady walking by that looked at you and was like, it was kind of funny looking at her face because she was definitely laughing at you.
I didn't even know.
You definitely didn't.
I was too focused on the dog.
You
I didn't
too.
care about anybody else walking around.
I'm gonna be completely honest. I was looking at some questions I missed. The dog ran out.
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Oh, sorry. I
Pay
wasn't
attention.
paying
All right. So I
These
opened the
guys
door
are worst.
for Gannon, and
The
Amber,
dog
the
ran
German Shepherd, lunges at him.
Oh.
Tries to bite him, rips his short. He
I
catches
heard
a
that
tooth,
part, yeah.
and so
Yeah.
I yank Amber back, and then Cleo, pew, out the door. So I run after her, and the more I chase her, which in hindsight I shouldn't have chased her as much as I did, but I was just like, I gotta get the dog because it's outside, and I'm just.
Kept running.
I mean, I think.
Wait,
But dude, you don't know how funny it looked. It looked like Dash from The Incredibles just like bursting around chasing a dog, but barefoot. It was funny.
It's I don't know what it is. It's a mutt. She's a rescue.
Super small?
Yeah, pretty small.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
3 legs.
3 legs.
Oh.
Got speed for having 3 legs.
Dude, you got outran by a 3-legged dog. No.
Gannon
I mean,
came back.
one
and be
leg,
like, that
one
thing
leg.
was fast.
One leg.
No, that thing
I mean,
booked
Cleo-
it.
Cleo has some speed for only having 3 legs.
That's pretty
Like I
impressive.
caught up to her several times, but then she just has jukes,
She's got-
and then she would just growl at me and just run away
Sounds
from
like
me.
a quad.
Is that as a ringtone?
Oh, none of that.
Well, it's recorded now. You can just get that audio clip.
Do you guys want to do some
Sick.
questions?
What? We're not. He's not done with
What?
the story.
What? Oh!
We didn't even talk about the story yet.
Dude,
Let him finish.
Dude,
This
I thought
guy-
you were with the question.
Okay, just look how pathetic they look. Not him. Keenan's fine. Michael with
Look how
his headphone on his
pathetic.
cheek. Who wears a
Dude,
headphone
that's
like that?
where do the jawbone vibrations. Man.
Yeah, but show him the other side.
Come on, Jamie.
Show him the other side, Jamie. What is
Whoa.
this? So
Oh,
pathetic.
don't do that.
He's only half listening to us.
Yeah. It's
Dude, I was
You
looking
only
at the
have
questions. I got
listening
some
to.
sweet questions.
Okay.
Well, let him finish the story.
But-
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I'm ready.
story
I'm ready.
wise.
What's
Yeah.
the story?
So I got bit. I got ripped my shorts. Dog runs away. And we're like, dang it. Dog ran away.
Dang it.
What do we do? And Isaiah's gone. Isaiah's gone. I call him. I'm like, yo, Isaiah, if you have the dog, I'll drive over and you can throw him in the car, pick him up. And Isaiah's like out of breath, and he's like, I don't know where the dog went. And
Yeah.
You lost the dog.
I think you should tell the story from here.
Yeah. So she went back and forth down the like our street. You get if Michael knows what it looks like. It's pretty long, and so I'd sprinted back and forth the street like 3 times. If she finally runs back towards the house and cuts in towards the house, and so I thought she was there with you, and so I get back there. I'm like, oh, good, she stopped at the house. She's just waiting for me. I get there, and Ken's like, dude, she kept running. I look down at the far end of the street. She's still moving. I was like, oh no! I sprint down there, and by the time I get to the corner, I didn't know which direction she went. I was like, dude, my sister's going to kill me. It's not even my dog. I'm watching them because they're remodeling their house. And there's this guy that was standing there. Like, he clearly saw which way she would have went if he was paying attention. I was like, dude, where'd that dog go? I don't know, man. I was like,
I don't know, dude.
I was like, what?
That rabbit though went left.
And so
The rabbit went left.
And
3-legged rabbit?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So Gannon calls me, and I'm like, dude, I have no idea where the dog went. So he picks me up, and we're just patrolling. I call my sister and my brother-in-law. So all 3 of us, all 3 cars are patrolling for like 3 hours. It takes us 3 hours to find her. It took us 3 hours to find her.
Yeah, can I add also before the 3 hours?
What's that?
Dude,
There's 2 ways they can go. The dog could have gone. There's this main street, which is like they're going.
This is out your house.
This is about his house.
Oh, dang! So she ran like towards the main.
Yeah.
So the main road is, I don't know, it's pretty fast there, probably 50 miles per hour, pretty
40.
45, 40, okay.
But people who usually go.
But
45,
it's like,
50.
but it's like huge.
It's a busy.
I'm not saying it's fast, but it's a busy street.
Yeah.
And then there's to the left, there's like all these little house areas, so many different roads that it could have went up.
It's so convoluted.
So
like
it's in San Diego. So we're like searching in San Diego for all these through all these roads with all these houses.
Suburban areas, yeah.
Suburban areas, and we're like, where do we go? And for 2 hours, I'm searching with this guy, and couldn't find it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He gets called to work, and then I keep searching.
Yeah, so I leave. I bail. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for those dogs.
And then
wait, so you just came to the house?
I
and
came.
Spent the whole time looking for the dog.
Then he got called to work.
So is this why you guys didn't edit?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
the original plan was to edit the
yes,
video.
we were trying to edit episode 1.
Yeah.
Did not work.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why
And-
we're here.
And then an hour after that, my sister and my brother-in-law, they spot her in the corner of their eye, and they finally. She was only really
In
just,
the corner of her eye.
yeah,
They're
right
like,
there.
That's it.
Yeah. It really was only just over on the other side of the street, like, so you have your house.
So she went across the main street?
Yeah, so she went towards the main street and then just kept on the sidewalk.
So she didn't cross the
Thankfully,
road like a
she
chicken.
she was smart enough not to like go all the way over there because there's a canyon over there, and I was like, dude, she went in that canyon. Gosh.
Dude.
Hey, coyotes, have you seen a rabbit around?
Yeah.
3-legged rabbit.
Yeah. So that was
Some good stew.
It was stressful. I was chasing that dog barefoot for like 20 minutes, so I had blisters on all my toes and on like the heels or the balls of my feet. And so walking for the next few days was kind of rough. Worth it though, because the dog was fine.
But, dude, it was just so funny watching him run full speed, like barefoot. And it's not that it's barefoot, but it's that it's Isaiah barefoot. It's like,
I'm not barefoot.
he's not barefoot often. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
But that was.
But you guys found her.
Yeah.
We found her.
So we're good.
Happy story. I mean,
Happy story.
I would not be telling the story if it ended poorly. Like, I probably would not be here right now. I'd probably be murdered. But you know,
Probably not be living.
yeah, my sister would have been so mad at me.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You want to ask us some questions though? Interesting questions.
Yeah, sure, why not? We'll start off with something light and simple. What is your favorite Bible verse and why?
What is my favorite Bible verse and why?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, 2 minutes to answer.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Oh, okay. I'm gonna take that.
How
Whole
about
time
you
for
ask
it.
us the next question? We'll put that like in the back of our mind of what we're thinking.
Okay.
Well,
You
I
want to switch off?
Well, you want to answer it now?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
no, it's okay. We'll come back to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I need to think about it for a second because there's a lot. Like,
Alright.
What's it called? I have a would you rather question.
okay.
Would you
Ooh.
rather have a dog with a cat's personality or a cat with a dog's personality?
Cat with a dog. Done.
Wow,
sealed.
That was easy. Stables.
Yeah. I mean,
I guess
That
it's
would be
not as
cool
easy.
having a cat with a dog's personality. That would be cool.
you literally have a cat with a dog's personality right now.
That's kind of basically my cat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say whatever he said, cat with a dog's personality.
Because I mean, a cat with a dog with a cat's personality is just
A beached whale just laying on the ground. Like,
Yeah.
just a beast whale. No, it's just a dog that doesn't.
It's one of those land whales, you know.
One of them land whales. But like, it's just the dog that doesn't interact with you. That's no fun.
he just
Right?
scratches your face. He's like,
Yeah, he bites you when he's done getting pet. That would be rough.
done getting pet.
Oh,
he bites
dude,
you.
Yeah.
Dog bite. Oh, no.
Yeah, no, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
No
settled.
bueno, no
Next
bueno.
question.
That's settled.
What is the coolest thing you've ever done?
The McBryant Show, episode
Woo!
1.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Come on.
I mean, it was
I
pretty
said
cool.
you're like, what do you mean?
This is the coolest thing I've
The
ever done.
coolest thing I've ever done,
Dude, I don't know, dude. I think you asked this question last time we tried to do this.
and my heart is pounding with
You're supposed to
answers. Just
trade secrets like that, Isaiah.
No, see, we're transparent here on the McBryant Show.
to be
Oh,
honest,
sorry.
I don't know what the coolest thing I've ever done was. I've done so
Like-
many. The stupidest thing I've ever done? I don't know. I can't answer that either. So many.
So many.
So many.
Yeah.
Endless
Name
list.
one of them. Name one of them.
Fun thing. This is not the coolest thing I've ever done. It just popped into my mind. Was in La Jolla, my friends Michael and Jeremiah. This guy over here. I think Jeremiah's the guy that did it. Paid for like those dollar bikes or whatever.
Like the birds.
And we were like timing ourselves trying to race around La Jolla. So like the path is like we race onto the sidewalk.
I don't remember.
You don't remember this?
Jeremiah
Race
would
on
do
the
that.
sidewalk.
Oh, at Lower Shores?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Turn on the grass and you like go on as quick as you can and then like skirt and slide at the end.
That
Very
was pretty funny.
very cool races. And it's like we were
Dude,
just
we've been to
timing
La
it.
Jolla too many times. Too many trips.
La Jolla's a good location,
It's a
man.
great location.
But that was fun. Bike racing. Yeah.
Bike racing.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for having me out, bud.
Uh,
That
yeah.
but that's not the coolest thing ever. Do you have anything cool?
I mean, I don't know if I can definitely say like anything like the coolest thing I've ever done, but I think something that was really cool.
You found your dog.
Yeah, that was cool. That was good. But I mean,
Yeah, that was cool.
went to Florida at like Disney World or whatever,
Oh yeah.
and that was cool. I mean, that was like when I was like 7. So that's like
Dude,
the last family
mind
vacation we've had.
blown.
Really, but I mean, one thing that was cool though is at Waypoint Camp dirt scoots. Those are fun. That's really fun.
Oh,
Dirt
dirt scoots.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty fun.
Little pump.
Wiping out on
Yeah.
those.
Yeah, you definitely wipe out every once in a while.
Definitely fun.
Yeah, it is.
All right. If you were to be able to live, if you were to be, this question is titled, would you, if you were to be reborn in a new life, would you rather be alive in the past or in the future? So if you could live in a different time period, past or the future.
Honestly, I think it'd be fun to live in the past, like going back to like
Medieval ages.
medieval ages. Shing shing. No,
He's like,
definitely not. I think it'd be cool to like. I've always liked adventure, so I feel like it'd be cool to like be the dudes that landed in America and are like settling their homes and like making it work, kind of building it up and just. But wouldn't that be cool? Like you have, it's kind of like living in Alaska now, except for a little different.
Yeah, except you don't. I mean,
Living in Alaska.
except they pay you in Alaska to live there.
Well, not a lot.
If you're from
Yeah, they
Alaska
pay you.
and you're
2,000
watching
bucks
this
or
video, please comment.
Yeah, comment if you're watching this.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Hit them with a like. I just feel like it's hard to say the future just because you don't really know what the future holds. Like you kind of know what the past is, and you kind of know what to expect. I mean, obviously you don't know it perfectly, but like I can't really be like, yeah, I want to be 1,000 years in the future when we're all dead. Like who knows what in 1,000 years, right? Like, but the past definitely. Although, I mean, the only problem with the past is that it's very brutal for the most part. Like
That's true.
right? Like,
So is the present.
but I mean, like, in the past is pretty brutal. Like,
I don't know.
I mean, quality of life in the past
Was
is
much
very
lower.
Depends
Yeah,
on which
yeah,
time
yeah.
period you're on.
but there is like with this, like I know there's like a lot of like controversy around the '60s, but like there is a lot of like nostalgia almost that comes into it, right? Like,
50s,
Like-
60s.
yeah, like man, everyone's wearing suits. Everyone looks dapper. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
If I
Yeah,
were
like-
to live in the 1900s, it would probably be like the 50s or 60s.
although I wouldn't mind living in the 1800s, like in like Central Europe. Because I mean, I could get into this, but you know,
You know.
Germany being united. I mean, it's just kind of like
Oh,
a cool.
boy. Dude, you know who we should have on this podcast? Caleb. they could go down.
It's
some
true.
rabbit hole.
But that would just be a history podcast.
That would
so
be like
that
a
We should have a history podcast.
14-hour
Good,
history
but-
podcast.
I mean, Otto von Bismarck,
What?
underrated historical character.
There we go.
Anyway, I'm not
Anyways,
gonna go
okay.
into that.
Sorry.
So, right? The
yeah,
Bible verse.
Keenan, Bible verse.
Oh yeah, you guys skipped that question because you were lazy and didn't
Come
know
back.
Yes.
anything about it.
And clearly we were
We're
thinking
getting
about it.
back.
Yeah, for sure. Favorite Bible verse and why? You have to give a reason. If you don't give a reason,
I got you.
then that's
I
just
get you.
terrible of you.
So I actually, a verse that always like comes back to me, specifically because I'm involved in like a lot of youth ministries, is Matthew 18:6. And if any of you lead any of these little ones astray, it'd be better if you have a millstone tied around your neck and thrown into the water. While it's kind of dark, it's very much like a reminder that that we have to be intentional in what we do, and that the gospel is at the forefront of everything we do, especially when it comes to ministry. And so that's just something I always kind of come back towards as just encouragement and as just fuel to keep me going when it comes to the various ministries that I'm a part of. So that's one I've always come back to.
I thought you were gonna say 2 Timothy 2:15.
My God, I'm not gonna do the primary Awana verse.
Really, because I'm involved with a bunch of youth, I was like, here we go.
Second to no.
Appreciate it.
I think for me, if I have to pick one verse, it'd be Philippians 4:4,
You got a Bible right there.
which would be rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. And I know that's short, but it's like sometimes we're just like not rejoicing. We're not happy, and like I've experienced a lot of times where I'm feeling down or sad or depressed or whatever, and it's because I choose that instead of to rejoice. But like let me get the whole verse because I have it partially memorized and don't want to mix it up.
Verses when you blind the verses.
Yeah.
Just create
But-
a Bible.
Philippians.
It's getting one.
Canon 1:1, yeah.
Yeah, it was Philippians. My favorite thing is Philippians 4:4-7. I think rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I'll say rejoice. So it's not just like rejoice in the Lord. He's like, and again I say rejoice. This is like Paul talking to the Philippians, and he's commanding us to rejoice in the Lord. Let your gentleness be known to all men. The Lord is at hand. And 4:6 is huge for me. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus. I know this isn't one verse, but like it's huge because first we need to rejoice in the Lord. We need to let our gentleness be known to all men. The Lord is at hand. But like be anxious for nothing. Like every day we're like you have it, not every day necessarily, but you're always like anxious. You're like, oh, college, oh, work, oh, this, oh, what am I going to do with my life? Like we have all these questions, and one day you'll feel super energetic and you'll be positive and you'll be rejoicing. But a lot of time, and like this is like NF, a lot of his story is, I forgot what song it is. I think, oh Lord, he's like, why do we only pray to God when we're sick or whatever, or like when we need him? We never go to God when life's good. We're only going to God when we're hurt or when someone's hurt. We're only praying to him when grandma's dying or someone's sick or you're sick or like you just have problems. And it's like right here it says, be anxious for nothing, but pray and with supplication. And it says pray with thanksgiving. So it's like every day we should be thankful. We should be praying. Thank you for this. And it's not just like, oh, thank you. But it's like we need to actually be serious about it. And that's huge is like we need to be rejoicing more. And we need to be in thanksgiving more. And I think this would be good for bringing up like social media is we're always being it's like we're anxious. We're worried. We're like, oh no. And like something I was mentioning to these guys earlier was sometimes you're on Instagram and you're like worried about what others are gonna view your photos as, or how many likes am I gonna get, or should I post this? Maybe they will make fun of me or whatever. Like, you always have these anxieties, these worries, you're just scared of how people are gonna view you as, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like right here, it's telling us we don't need to be anxious, but instead we should rejoice in the Lord and be thankful. And
Yeah, I mean,
it's just
like, definitely wanting like acceptance from other people is definitely like very much a human condition, right? And I think that comes along to like conforming to this world, right? Especially when it comes to like our media, our social media profiles, we want to put forth the best like image possible of ourselves, right? And we don't want to show anything bad of ourselves. We want to be accepted by the world, right?
Yeah.
We want to say, oh, that's the kind of person I want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to put that out to the world, but in so doing, you're conforming to the world and you're creating an image of yourself that's not real, and you're actually just creating an image that the world wants you to have.
A lot of
Right.
it's based
Yeah.
on envy.
Yeah.
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 and it's also like for me, it also gets into like comparing with other people. It's like I'm comparing, like, oh, should I post this photo? Maybe it's not edited well enough, or oh, blah blah blah. Like sometimes I'll compare my photos to Michael, which normally I don't because that's different. But it's like if I'm comparing, because Michael takes awesome photos,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'll compare him to other friends. I'm like, oh, this is so good compared to them. But it's like if I'm comparing, I mean, first of all, the Bible it tells us not to be comparing with others.
Yeah.
That's just gonna put you down. That's gonna put others down. And it's just a whole nother problem. But it's just like, you're like, am I good enough, or am I worthy enough for Instagram or whatever? Like, I use Instagram the most. That's why it's the most like impactful for me.
I think there's a fine line too of like, because like for me, I feel like I definitely like compared or something with like I wish I could get a photo like that, or like my photos aren't as cool as that. But I feel like a lot of it, maybe it's a little bit different for me, but like if I post a video or something like that, I might be like not super anxious, but there might be like hint of anxious for me, and it's almost like I don't think this video's like done, or like I see a bunch of mistakes in it, and I'm afraid like not that other people would be like, oh, like this is crap, or like what they think of my work, but like see mistakes or something like that. Maybe it's a little different, I think.
Yeah.
Like a little it's kind of like being picky.
Yeah.
So I'm not like really comparing it to somebody else. So like, so I think like sometimes in the creative field, you have to have a fine line of trying not to compare yourself to somebody and get envious and jealous when that happens, but at the same time, like, not just be like, if I just didn't care about my work, you know, you just release stuff and then it's
not
trash
good
and you're not progressing.
Yeah.
You need to kind of like judge yourself a bit, but you also can't be like paranoid to where it's like be a perfectionist, because then nothing will ever be done.
Yeah, you're never gonna finish anything.
Yeah. So I don't know. You see what I'm trying to say? Like, there's a difference between like being envious and like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the situation is definitely different for you. I mean, there is that fine line for everybody, but especially
it definitely depends on people too.
Yeah.
Like,
And I have similar things with him though. Like when I post, say, a funny video, like remember my getting ready for formal.
You want to be the best. Like you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But remember my getting ready for formal or prom video that I made?
Yeah.
Right before.
Is really funny.
But I was scared. I was like, are people even gonna think this is funny? Because to me, I'm trying to be as funny as possible with my camera angles, what I do. And I was super nervous. I was like, maybe it's not filmed well. Maybe it was whatever. But maybe it's just not edited well. Maybe I'm not funny. But in reality, okay, well, first of all, from my perspective, yes, I need to make it look good. Because this is like, I'm trying to get good at video. But at the same time, if I'm worried about how people are going to think about things, first of all, I think people are going to judge you no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going in the long run, like, if I actually ended up making real movies or whatever, which is not necessarily what I want to do, but if I make real movies, there are going to be haters, you know?
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah. Well, the importance with it, too, is, like, you might be so paranoid, you're like, if somebody, like, looks at this and points something out, like, I don't want somebody to point this out, you know? Like, I want to be the best, and I can't take any criticism. But at the same time, if somebody does give you criticism, like, it's so better to like take the criticism and actually think about it
and apply it to the next video.
And be like, oh, yeah, you're right, or think about it instead of being like, yeah, that guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
Because then you're like
Right.
paranoid. You're like, or what are they gonna think about it? But then when you actually get criticized, then it's like, yeah, they don't know what they're talking about. It's like, wait, hold up.
And that was for me, was like, I was so worried about getting people like, oh, you're not even funny, oh, whatever. And like when I posted the video, it was the opposite of what I was thinking. I was thinking like, oh, this is either gonna fail or this will be funny. Ended up being funny.
Yeah.
Got a ton of comments. Everyone loved it. A ton of views. It went well. But then there's other videos where I'm like posting like camp, when I did all these camp videos and I made them in one day. The whole every day
super hard to do.
there'd be these camera guys that have way better equipment there than me, like, and they knew what they're doing, and it was always like, oh no, they're gonna see my videos and think they're terrible. But at the same time, I'm making them for all these like kids, and it really just depends what the situation is. But I was still stressed every day, like, oh no, I gotta do this. But at the same time, it's like sometimes you just gotta do it, not to honor man but to honor God. Right. I mean, not sometimes, all the time. You always need to be focused, like putting it to God, not to man.
Well, I mean, I think this can be seen even just in the creation of the McBryant Show. Like, I feel like, like especially like building up to when we make an episode, or building up to even our first episode. Like, I was worried, like, man, are people even gonna like this? Like, is there even a point to this?
We still have no clue.
Right? Like, we still don't know. But like at a certain point, it's like, it is what it is, and people are going to take it for what it is. Yeah. And that shouldn't change how we act or how we conduct ourselves during the show. Yeah. I mean, like we said, like our ultimate goal is to glorify God. And if that...
And just talk.
Yeah, and just hang out and just have a good time. Like, it's not to become popular. It's not to get a bunch of views. You know, ultimately, it's hopefully this affects other people. But at the end of the day, I hope that it affects us as well. Right, and positively affects us in our walk with God.
For sure.
Kind of going back to what you said, where like you could see other people higher than you, and you're like paranoid. You're like, well, like they're gonna like look at my work and be like, oh yeah, he's just that guy.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, I was there 20 years ago.
No, but like, dude, that happens to me all the time. But like, dude, I feel like. And like, especially in like a creative space, I feel like people that actually like don't have as much skill, you know, then if somebody's has more skill level than you and is like higher than that, I feel like if you just work hard and do your best and just like hustle, people on the top, like, even if they look at your work and be like, oh wow, like, yeah, that's pretty good, like a little rough around the edges. But, like, they see your work and see your hustle, and they're like, that's, like, this guy is who I want to work with, you know?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Then rather than your actual work, it's like, how do you, like...
Conduct yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
It's more like, I don't know. I find that, like, with working with, like, photographers with weddings and stuff like that, or something like that, there might be a photographer who's maybe on the same skill level as me, like only been shooting weddings for like a year or something like that. Or I have somebody who's been shooting weddings for 10 years, you know? And like how I act around them is like, I feel like different. Yeah. But I feel like on the flip side, if you just like hustle and stuff like that, your work kind of speaks for yourself. Even if it's not like as good as it could be, like you show potential. Yeah. But if you're just arrogant and cocky and you're like, yeah, my work's the best, and it's like really not that good. Then,
and you're not even trying hard
either. Nobody's gonna want to work with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you dying over there?
Keenan's choking up.
You good? He needs more cherry Coke.
I need more cherry Coke.
Yeah. I don't know. I related with you.
But yeah, that was
for sure. I mean, I mean,
and that goes with like a lot of things in life. I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes, so I don't know why I bring it, but like sometimes in the creative field, it is good to look at people better than you, though. And you don't need to say they're necessarily better, but sometimes it's good looking at their videos and like, oh, how do I edit like that? How do I change it for the better? Because if you're just always looking at your videos and like staying and not like trying to grow. Like
there's difference between inspiration and envious.
exactly.
Yeah,
Because envious
inspiration.
is
That's good.
I'm doing exactly what they're doing and I'm not popular. That's different
Yeah.
than like, oh, like what is that guy doing that I'm not doing that I could improve on?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, take a little, cause like, literally every art is borrowing from somebody.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
every single art.
Yeah.
So, and it's not a bad thing. That's how creativity works.
Yeah.
So,
Right. I mean, like, you're right. Like, there's a complete difference between recognizing that someone is better and that you can learn off that,
yeah.
and being envious and saying like, why don't I have that level of success? Like in
Yeah.
any sport or whatever,
Yeah.
you play against people that
Exactly.
are better than you
Yeah.
to get better, right? I mean, you're not gonna
Yeah.
get better by playing like your 5-year-old brother
Yeah.
and pick up basketball. You're just so much taller.
Well, that's the
than
thing though. Also, is once you're like this good, people are gonna get that good too eventually. You know.
Yeah.
But
like-
there's always somebody above you that you can learn off of, right?
Yeah.
Like there's always more.
But like
you can
I'm
learn.
saying, if you're at the top, you're not gonna be at the top forever necessarily.
No.
Oh
Like-
yeah. No.
Like in video games, you can get good at Fortnite quick. You can be the best for 2 weeks, and then everyone else catches up to you. You know what I'm
There
saying?
you go.
I mean, you
I don't know why I brought up
You have to
Fortnite.
play like
I
12
never
hours a
played that
day to
game.
be like the best.
That's
Shoot.
That's why I
Ain't
don't
nobody got
play-
time for that.
I don't play competitive video games, or I don't do anything competitive because I have a severe fear of competition.
Competitive battle royale is just not a.
Well, the original,
Good mix.
the original battle royale, Minecraft, Hunger Games, man.
Yeah, that's competitive right there.
That's competitive.
That's the peak of
Yes.
competitiveness.
And
right
I would never lose.
Dude,
I never lose.
yeah.
I like it.
there. Yeah.
Dude,
Just
I
kidding.
feel like that just goes back to humbleness. I feel like that's what
Yeah. And contentment. Yeah.
we're. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, that goes with creative field, workplace,
Yeah.
Yeah,
sports.
because
Like,
at
it
work,
applies to.
It
That's
applies
a
to your
lot.
whole
it
life.
applies to life.
Like especially because social media is so ingrained in our lives
Yeah.
that the way that we react to the social media oftentimes applies to how we interact with our own lives as well.
Yeah.
Like so, it very much it's kind of a disservice to address social media as just a single topic because it's so much a part of our lives at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
You know what would be rough is having a situation where you have a coworker that's lower than you, or not lower than you. In your mind, you think they're lower than them.
hmm
Okay, but they're like you could be equal, you know.
But they're working harder
Wait.
than you.
No, like they get promoted, and you don't.
Mm.
How do you deal with that? Because I feel like your first instinct is to just not want to like listen to that person, right? Or be
they're
like,
gonna be like gloating, or
well, no, not even if they.
No, it's
gloat.
just it's your side.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like because
You're like,
in
why didn't
your-
I get upgraded?
Yeah, in your mind, you know way more than they do. Like, why in the world would they, be promoted to this position? I don't know.
And that's just like, it's kind of like perspective. It's like, you're thinking this way. You're like,
Yeah.
you're always you're kind
Well,
of thinking about yourself in some
yeah,
ways.
but like,
yeah.
say you actually do know more than them,
Mhm.
and they did get promoted. Like, how would you deal with that? Because so say somebody got promoted to is above you and is technically a manager over you or something like that, but you know more than them. Like, that takes a ton of humility to like listen to them.
Yeah.
But also, when do you guys know his first name's Jocko? I
Jocko.
don't remember his last name. He's like a retired Navy SEAL. But he talks about leadership and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But he was talking about kind of this situation, and it's like if you have a manager that it's like, or somebody up above you that just is like, you feel like is like a tyrant or like the worst human being ever or something like that. Like, you have two options. You could just like not be cooperative with them, or if they tell you to do something, like even if you don't think it's the best idea, like maybe just do the idea and be like, hey, like on the side, maybe like do the idea, play along with the game, and gain some respect, and then they will in turn, you know, be able to listen to you a little bit more. So when you actually do have some like ideas, be like, hey, like what if we do it this way? Then they have a little more respect for you. I don't know. That's a good podcast. I don't remember the guy's name though.
Yeah.
Jocko.
Jocko willingly.
Willingly?
Willingness.
Willing leak.
But like
Gotcha.
I feel like a lot of that though, like about the coworker that you think's lower than you doesn't know as much, or maybe you do know more. But a lot of that is, and it might not be this exact situation, but a lot of it is like assuming.
Yeah.
We assume
Yes.
things a lot.
Yes.
And a lot of the time, and it could be tiny things like, hey, why wasn't I invited to this? Hey, why wasn't I this, you know? It's like, why wasn't I upgraded to work or whatever?
Yeah, Jordan Peterson, one of his 12 Rules for Life book, one of his rules is assume someone knows something that you don't.
Because everybody knows something that somebody else doesn't know.
Yeah, well,
Like,
no, but it's like the humbleness,
Right.
Like
Right.
you don't know everything,
Yeah.
Mhm.
so
And people
listen.
and people know different things about.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
People know
people have
stuff about
takes
different
on
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always so many situations though in life where like for me it's exact like I will assume something, and because I assume it, and it's wrong, like
I mean,
fixing up the cameras.
yeah, distracting.
But like when I assume things that are wrong, and I'm like, it's not good for you. I don't know why I lost my train of thought.
it's all good.
Michael just turned it off the cameras.
Sorry, man.
No, but we just assume like, oh, why wasn't I like, for example, why wasn't I invited to this? You like think negatively towards.
That's a good one.
No, but you think negatively towards those people. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
there's problems with me, or like there's things they didn't want me because of this. Or, like you keep making up more and more stories in your head, or like why didn't I get upgraded at work? I was a harder worker, or I, whatever. And it's a lot of it's just assuming, and there's a side that you don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of
so
it's
much
for-
of a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but a lot
Picture.
of it, picture.
Yeah.
They love that water. But like a lot of it, we don't know,
Yeah.
and we just need to not assume.
Yeah.
Kind of. Sometimes it's better to just be like, okay, I wasn't, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we assume. I mean, we make assumptions pretty much on like
Everything.
on everything really, because like even like a text message, right? You apply a tone to whatever text you got, right? Like-
true.
That's a good. One.
Like that's, I mean, like if someone sends you something, you could totally think that person was being like rude and angry, and they
Yeah.
meant it in just like a neutral
Oh,
state. I mean, that happens, right? Like people,
Oh,
because
yeah.
people automatically assign a tone to whatever that text that actually doesn't have.
yeah,
one.
I'm bad with that.
You're like, what?
I'll just
No,
have like,
you.
I'll have like
That's why
funny
I
humor.
use emojis constantly.
Yeah,
That
no,
way-
But
when
they can be
I-
misleading too.
No, but when I
How
don't
do
use
you
an
put, like,
emoji,
10 smiley faces?
people think
you
you're
know what I'm
mad.
talking about.
You know, you serious.
Yeah, you know I'm serious.
True.
Honestly.
But like, that's, for me, like, I would always type something that would be funny to certain people or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And I would say something stupid, but it was like, to me it was hilarious, and then boom, I'd get all this backlash, like people are just like stabbing me with knives after. I'm like, whoa, whoa,
Getting
whoa,
assaulted?
that's not what I meant to do.
Humor is really hard to.
Over text is
Translate over
very
text.
difficult.
But like, I can get,
Especially sarcasm.
Sorry. Oh, yeah.
Dude, my humor
Yeah.
is so dry, it does not come through well in text.
You just gotta get the emoji that's like,
People are just like, wow, you're so mean and brutal. I'm like, kind of, but that's my humor.
Kind of.
yeah, kind of.
We're sitting at like 40 minutes, I think,
Dude,
beautiful.
wanna wrap it up there.
that's beautiful.
or yeah, maybe a little less than that.
I mean, I think that's like a good length for a second episode.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, guys.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, comment. We'd love to hear from you guys. You know, you can talk about whatever we talked about. We'd love to have a continued dialogue with you guys. Again, thank you for watching. See you next time.
See you guys. This has been
The McBryant Show.
Guys, sound like some YouTubers.
Thanks.
Maybe.
Thanks. That was
Ayo.
sick, man. That was sick.
Way longer than
You know what
40
else
minutes,
is
to be
sick? My throat.